Welcome back. Today Fujifilm announced a brand new camera, and we're going to talk about that. It's called the Fujifilm X-half. Now before I start, remember when you're commenting, it's okay that this camera is probably not for most people, but don't take away from the joy from other people like me who love the idea and the innovation, who are interested in it, because I'm excited for it. I did pre-order it. I understand the biggest limiting factor is how much it's going to cost, and I understand that because even I'm like, whew. But I do find that it will be a very, very fun camera to just take a step back from how serious photography can be and just have fun with it again. That's what this camera did for me. This is the X106. Well, I originally had the F, then the V, now this, but that's what that camera did for me. It brought back that love of photography and the simplicity of photography that I'd kind of gotten out of touch with shooting my full frame Canon gear all the time. So I just want to say that first. I know people are not necessarily as excited about this camera. I know the frustration of wanting other cameras and they keep making different ones than what you want. Like, I know people want an X Pro 4, an XE5. I want an X80, which I don't know that that's ever going to happen, but I get it. But just remember, then this probably just isn't the camera for you, and that's okay. I get that it's frustrating that they're making them for everybody else. And I know that people are going to say, well, this is just for those TikTokers and influencers and all that. And I'm like, you know what? If it is, that's great. It's getting people into photography. We should love that people are getting back into wanting to use a camera instead of just wanting to use their phone, because I think that just makes things better. I want people to love photography. I want people to experience this joy that I get from taking photos with a camera instead of just my phone. Your phone is lifeless, it's soulless. It's not, you can take great photos, yeah, sure. It's the experience of using a camera though. So I think this adds that aspect, but it's also Fujifilm capitalizing on the trends right now. Getting old film cameras, like point and shoot film cameras, getting old point and shoot digital cameras, those are the trend right now. And they're kind of jumping on that. Maybe not in the way that everybody wanted, because they really could have made something that's a little closer to like a G7X successor, or not successor because it's not theirs, competitor. I get that, but this is still just a different type of camera. It just is. And I, for one, love seeing the innovation in different cameras. This is something nobody's ever made, so it's very different. It's very unique, and I think that's awesome. I think $859 for this camera is quite a lot, to be honest. That is my personal big negative on this camera, but we're gonna go with it. So I did pre-order it already. I don't have it right now, so everything I'm talking about right now, I'm just using this for example because it's kind of similar. It's a fixed camera. It is smaller than this. It's probably maybe closer to the size of my X70. I'm not positive because I don't have one. If Fujifilm ever wants to send me one to review or something, that'd be awesome, but I don't have one. Now, it is not even a 1-inch sensor. I think it's slightly smaller than that. So if you don't know, the G7X is a 1-inch sensor. It has 18 megapixels, but no RAW. Only JPEGs, but that kind of adds to the, if you're shooting film, you're not shooting RAW, you're shooting film. So only JPEGs, 18 megapixels, which megapixels is totally fine. It has a fixed 10.8 f2.8 lens. Now the 10.8 is about a 32 millimeter in full frame. The f-stop is definitely not anywhere near 2.8 if you're at that small of a sensor, so just be aware it's 2.8, but you're not getting a lot from that. Now it is a vertical sensor. So for those of you who don't know, like, and I know a lot of my audience here is photographers, but I know there's also a lot here who are not. When you're shooting normally, you shoot like this and it's a horizontal photo. You shoot like this, it's a vertical photo. Well, the new camera, the X-half, actually has a vertical sensor in it, which means that if you shoot like this, you're getting a vertical photo. If you turn the camera like this, you're getting a horizontal photo. Now the reason that they're doing that is because it's based off of like a film half frame camera. Now, I'll try and explain that here, but I've not yet finished a roll of film on this. This is a half frame film camera. This is the Kodak Ektar H35N. I got it for Christmas from my husband. It's great. I put a roll of 24 exposure film in here. Now it doubles that. So whatever your film is, you get double the exposures with a half frame camera. And what it does is it places the photos side by side on the same part of the film strip. So instead of like a long one, you get two vertical ones, which literally made me realize I've been shooting wrong with this camera. So that's gonna be fun when I get this back, because I've definitely been turning it like this. But again, I hadn't used this. I've been so used to regular film cameras, not a half frame. But essentially that's what this is doing in this camera. You can take regular photos, you don't have to have it in a special mode, and just take them normally, get the normal JPEGs, that's it. But you can also turn it into basically a half frame camera with your JPEG so that it will put two photos side by side. You then can get to choose how they're gonna look, like based on if you want like a black strip separating the two or a white strip, or how thick or thin that strip is between the two photos. It does have to be consecutive photos. The only way you can do it with photos you took on like not consecutively is if you go in the app and make it in there, which it does let you do. Is a new dedicated app just for the Fuji X-half. Now, I think this is a cool thought process because it kind of reminds me a little bit of Instagram carousels, which this is meant for like a quicker consumer type camera. It is not meant to be a major camera that people are going to be like editing and doing all these things. It's meant to be fast posting kind of camera, I think. So if you were to say take a photo at a graduation, because we're getting at that time of year, someone's standing there with their cap and gown, a bouquet of flowers, whatever, and then the next photo right after that you take is like a close-up of just the tassel. You've got those it puts them right next to each other if you're in that mode, and then you've got those right next to each other. It tells a little bit of a story. Same with if you were to use the video feature. Now, it does not do a lot of video. It is not a video camera. It is not a vlogging camera. It is not meant for that. It can take little short clips. It sounds like maybe about less than 60 seconds. And it sounds like it also can do slow-mo, although I've never heard anybody else's videos talk about that. So what you could do is say, take that first photo of the person standing there in their cap and gown, and then the next clip, you're gonna take a tiny little video clip of maybe everybody tossing their caps in the air and put them side by side like that. So then when you share them online, you've got, I don't know, it sounds really cool to me. And I think that's a great little feature that's going to be great for storytelling, which is I think what this camera is going to excel at, is the storytelling. So I'm excited for it for those reasons. Now, it does have a viewfinder, but it's only an optical viewfinder. So for those of you, again, who don't know, I'm going to explain this. Electronic viewfinder is what most cameras have nowadays. Some like this is the Fuji X106, some of them still have both, but that is not common anymore. So essentially, now if you look through the camera and you have it turned on and it shows your like brightness, your exposure, your color, like say you put it in a film simulation, it's showing all that. That is an electronic viewfinder. If you look through this like I am right now, I can see my camera, I can see everything, but there's no what the colors are going to look like, there's no what the exposure is going to look like. That's an optical viewfinder. So it's what would be in an older film camera, some old digital cameras, like I have a tiny Canon that has an optical viewfinder in it. That's what you're just seeing what you're taking, but you're not seeing what's actually going to come out like, so you don't know if you've over or underexposed it with that. Now, when you're taking regular digital photos on the camera, you can use the screen on the back, so you don't have to use the optical viewfinder. So the new camera, I'm just showing you on this because I don't have it. It has two screens. One is a thin vertical screen here. That's where you will see your photo and everything. You will have a very thin little strip of a screen here, which is where you swipe through the different film simulations to choose which one you want to use. Now, it only comes with 13 of them, but it sounds like it's like the 13 best ones in their opinion. And you cannot put recipes into this camera. It's not made for that. I do think maybe that was an oversight because that's a big thing for people right now, and I think people are gonna be missing that. But I personally love just using Classic Chrome as it is, or Classic Neg as it is, things like that. You can still, as far as I'm aware, from what I've seen, you can still edit when you're in that, like say, change your white balance, add your grain, things like that. You can do all of that still. It's not that you can't do that, it's just you can't save them as like presets, if that makes sense. So you can still use them. The camera also comes with some random new filters. Some of them are like really silly ones, I think, like toy miniature and things that you get on other cameras. Like, I'm never touching that. I think that's actually already on here too. But there are other ones that are built more around old like film, like such as you can give an expired film look, you can give it halation, different things. Those are included, but you cannot mix them with the film simulations from what I understand. Again, I don't have one to test, so I can't show you all this on my own, but that is my understanding. Now, because you have two screens back here, there's almost no buttons or dials. You can't like joystick around through a menu. You gotta swipe to get through everything. It's very touch screen. I don't know how sensitive the touch screen actually is, but that's how you get through everything. And then same with like the film simulations. There are no dials to do like manual controls. There is an aperture ring, which is great, but there are no dials. So if you can shoot in full manual, it is in your settings that you swipe through. You can set all that in there, but that's definitely gonna slow you down if you're doing that. So I probably feel like I'll end up shooting in like aperture priority or something like that. But you can shoot full manual, there just aren't the dials for that. Now you can there is a button to play back your images, so you can look at those ones you took right afterwards. That is still an option. There's just less dials and things to do manual shooting and such like that. It is trying to make it similar to film without being filmed. So again, to be clear, it is only a digital camera. So, now it does have a special mode, which is a film mode. So this relies on the app that you're using. you will not be able to see any of your photos when you take them on the camera when you're in this film mode. So essentially, you are going to go in the one screen, pick your film simulation mode, then you'll go in the next screen and you'll tell it, do I want, I think it's 36, 54, and 72 as your amount in that roll of film that you're shooting, is basically how it's gonna do it. So you tell it that, and then it sets it, it just has like a number counter up here to show you how many frames you've taken. You have a film winder lever on the top, so in between each photo you have to wind the film as if you were on a film camera, which I think is, you know, it slows you down. It makes you really intentional, and it makes you act like you're shooting film, which I know to film people it's not the same. To those of us who can't afford to be shooting film and getting film like developed all the time, or don't have places near us that do it easily, it's really a nice feature for some of us. So just remember that. Now you will have, like say you're taking 36 exposures. If you turn the camera on and off in between taking those, it's still in that mode, you're still fine. But you can decide in the middle of it, say you got through like 16 exposures and you're like, yeah, actually I'm done, I want to go do something else with it, I want to do film simulation, whatever. You just tell it that, and then it stops it, and it actually like rewinds, like it counts down and rewinds like it's rewinding film, which is really cute. But then the only way you're going to see those is if you go on your phone and connect it and look at them in there, and you kind of develop the photos in there. And it does put them in a little like film reel thing, which like a negative slide, which looks really cool. And then you can, in there, it does put them like in a diptych, like the 2 and 2 photos. So I think that's just a really cool, unique feature. Like for a digital camera to be able to do all that is pretty cool. Let's be honest, it is cool. It may be not what you want, but it is cool, you can't deny. Now, let's see what else. I made notes because I was gonna forget stuff. I think I got through all those. You can add, I told you guys, you can add a date stamp to the photos, which is nice for people who love doing that with their like old film camera or digital cameras and stuff. Now the other thing that I have a note on, this is probably the last thing I have to touch on, is that you can technically print your photos, but you use your Instax printer. So but this camera does that too, and I've just literally never connected it. So I kind of forget that it does that because I have an Instax printer. You can connect it and then print your photos right afterwards, like as if you just did film. So again, this is a gimmicky camera. It is not meant to be a serious photographer camera, but the coolest thing to me is that it's just really innovative. It's unique. No one else makes a camera like this. And I think if you want to really step back and just take photos, like when I take photos, whether it's on this, although I have to wait for that to get developed, my other film camera, or even something small like this little Canon point shoot that I have, which has an optical viewfinder, like I am not expecting the best quality photos out of these, but I do it for the fun of using a camera, like using an old camera and getting those results. I love my Fuji cameras, like that do good, like today results, but it's fun to use older cameras and get that again. That's why people like them. So I think that this camera is made, it can be for anybody. It is not just for influencers and TikTokers. I think this camera is going to be great for people who just want something different, want to get back into just enjoying photography again without having to feel like everything has to be perfect. You're not going to get perfect photos with this camera. Like, not that it can't do a good job, but it is not the best of the best. From what I've heard, the autofocus is pretty slow. And you know, it's a small sensor. You're not getting the best photos. You're not going to get great low light. It doesn't have a true flash on it. So there's also that. It does have a leaf shutter. Was surprised by that. But you're going to be limited with it. It is like kind of like using an older camera. And again, the price is really the only downer for me on this. Like, that's a lot of money. Because again, it's $859 US. That's like 900 something with tax. It's a lot. So you got to really want this camera. And I do. I think this will be a great addition to my daily carry kind of stuff. If I can carry my X100 sometimes I carry that and I also carry a film camera. Sometimes I carry that and I also carry an old digital camera, like my XQ2 or something. You know, it's a good option just to get that. And like I was explaining earlier, what you can do with like the diptychs and getting, you know, the photos next to each other that tell a story, or a photo and video, and then sharing them that way. I just think that's gonna look so nice and unique. Whether the photos are like top notch or not, it's still a really unique way to create, and I think it's great. There are some things I obviously would have changed on this, just like there are on any camera. Every camera people announce, there is something that's missing that people wanted, and we know that. So just keep that in mind, but let me know, are you guys planning on ordering the X-half? Or is this just not the camera for you? I know it's a very niche camera for a lot of people, I do get that. But yeah, and I'll let you guys know too now, this whole video was filmed on my XM5 with the 18-55 kit lens, so in case you're wondering, I have been using it for my YouTube videos. So anyway, hope you enjoy and have a great day.